Be my Aurora Monroe. Be my Aurora Monroe.
So special.
I'm about to rack up a body count like my name was Wolverine. Blasting, concuss, of course, my Cyclops fixes feelings like a road gambit. I can drain and then recharge you. But like Nightcrawler out the blue, I go poof. I'm apocalypse. This is sinister. How I'm dropping this. I eclipse all that came before and after on your list. Another storm raining down on me, Misty Night and all. I know what you're thinking. Yeah. I'm Professor Charles Beast. Nobody gets you where they call me Namor. Killgrave with it. You ain't even gotta say more. You know I got that purple circle all around and see my zone. Mask off, now you got to see reality torn. Silver surfing the cosmos, embrace my Phoenix force. Now feel me, get your body hotter than the Human Torch. Be my Aurora Monroe, Krakoa, you're a Rocco. Like Magneto, I will crush all that brought you sorrow. Marvel when I see you, this marvel could be mine. I know I see truth and not just read my mind. We can rule more than Wakanda. As long as you're by my side, be my red when you seem to intoxicate my mind. Check the dope spills of a bird without fear, raging to a new sage. Panther god of cause, nergasm flames, wanna ace together like Stan Lee and his wife. We can make it through the venom, carnage, even strife. Even Moira had to face defeat before she got a glimpse of what was to come. See my horseman, we ready for whatever, and I love me a diamond frost. If I got a ghost ride, I'ma pay the cost. Death to my Thanos, that's for infinitely stone. Black Widow to my hope, you know how to bring me home. Spider-Man, yeah, I gotta have my Mary Jane. Don't let you know I love getting 3 brains. Aim for the hammer and the sea if you're worthy. Or I could be Black Potency if you heard me. Be Medusa, that's me in the
Hey, you hear me? Hey, you hear me?
I hear you.
Now that was the YouTube on the other channel. It came through.
Hey man, why you interrupting my production?
Everybody interrupting, man.
All right, so now that you hear mic check, let the video play because we're repping Women's History Month right now.
To simply hear you speak, no critiques, but as I feast, just know that I can eat for weeks. Your mind is so fantastic. I would love to meet your maker. I'll be blasting off like havoc. Our ecstatics, causing craters. I'm marvel when I see you. This marvel can be mine. I know you know I speak you. If not, just read my mind. We can do more than Wakanda. As long as you're by my side. Be my red queen. You seem to intoxicate my mind. My comics and listen to my comics. Seeing folks that look like me, whose powers are astronomical. So like Frankie J, where he discusses comics night and day.
Woo! Hold on, let's get on up. Welcome back, fellow knowledge seekers. It's My Comics busting through your speakers. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And don't forget to hit that subscribe bell and button. I am your host, Frankie J. This is the co-host, Midnight Assassin. And guess what? Those returning to the channel, I ain't forgot about you because you've been talking trash in the comments all week. So you already know we're going to have to address some of it. But first,
who's talking trash?
MDP, Nick Grill called me Swole Grandpa on Instagram. I'm old enough to be your daddy, not your grandpa. Anyways, yeah. They've been clowning this week, man. They've been clowning this week.
You finna sit out there and clown us old dudes like that. You ain't finna do that. You ain't finna sit there and do that.
On the low. But first, let's get into the show. Of course, you've seen the title of the show, Jim Crow Times. I spelled a little bit different. I should have put it on the thumbnail, but I didn't want to do it. I'm gonna change it later. But Jim Crow Times.
Talk about gyms,
right? This right here will be this, this right here will be an ongoing series, maybe 2 more episodes after this one, because we've got some other things we're gonna get into that we don't get into tonight, which is the comic code and then some other things. But first, this is why I got to say. So last month was Black History Month, and of course, on the posting the community part of it, I posted a lot of pictures of the lovely sisters for Black History Month. I'm gonna continue doing the same thing to this month, but it's gonna be people of color from all races, everything, all women, and what they've done. So today was Thunder, then tomorrow I keep it surprised, but we will keep it going. And also, in honor of Women's History Month, I had to put the video up where we honor, the actress who have portrayed superheroes in the movies. We might play those every time we come on this month. But this show, we're gonna get into discussing shows, movies, and comics that was set in the Jim Crow era, and it tells how people was treated during the Jim Crow era, and then we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But before we get into that, I got a little presentation because I want to discuss one of the comic book companies that was created back then. Yeah, that's right, back then. And because of Jim Crow tactics, they was not able to thrive. We might have had a different group of superheroes if this company was able to thrive in the Jim Crow era. So let's go ahead and put that up on the screen, and I'll see y'all in about a minute and a half.
Keep breaking down my comics with Midnight Assassin.
Introducing all Negro comics. That's right, I said it correctly. In 1947, former journalist Orrin Cromwell Evans founded All Negro Comics, Inc. and published the first known comic book company featuring all African-American artists and writers. This 48-page issue features a variety of stories and characters, including Ace Harlem, a dashing, heroic police detective who fights for justice in his city. On the title page, Evans published a note to all readers. Every breast stroke and pen, line, and drawings on these pages are by Negro artists. This publication is another milestone in the splendid history of Negro journalism. All Negro Comics will not only give Negro artists the opportunity to gainfully use their talents, but it would also glorify Negro historical events. Despite resistance and competition from publishers and distributors, All Negro Comics demonstrated that there was an appetite for more positive portrayals of African American comic book characters. However, Evans and his company were unable to afford publications of another issue because of Jim Crow tactics that were practiced back then by the gatekeepers, who would not publish or distribute their comic books because of the color of their skin. This great comic book company ended before it could blaze a glory across the world. And this will conclude the video.
I'm a survivor like an anarchist in the darkest hour.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had to do one on the All Negro Comics. Even though there are like 10, 15 other videos out there, I'm going to publish that one on Wednesday. Y'all can throw the comments under there or whatever. But All Negro Comics, right, was not able to thrive, man. They was not able to thrive because the gatekeepers, which was YT, I said YT, would not allow them to flourish. And they did things by not publishing their comics, not distributing them so they can be worldwide. Ace Harlem, I think Lion Man, and a couple other guys was featured in 1947. So if these guys was able to create, we might not have had, variants, different verses, multiverses. We would not have Superman and Batman right now. Ace Harlem would be Batman, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what you got to say on that Midnight Assassin? You got anything you want to add?
It kind of reminds me of like the music, how the music, like as like more black artists were coming out during that period of time in America, like people weren't ready to see like black people on the covers and stuff. So a lot of times they would put something else on the cover, so people couldn't tell that these were actually black artists singing on the records. And then so like that was something to keep it going. And for the longest time, like they weren't allowed in all white clubs and stuff like that. Like they had to go to the black only clubs or colored clubs and stuff like that to actually perform and make somewhat of notoriety and stuff at the time. And so like you watched that documentary, was it Strange Fruit?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, phew. I had no idea like how deep it went. Like, the FBI was involved. Like was it Ansler? Yeah, he led the whole protest because she put out a song, Strange Fruit, which talked about lynching in the South. And how like basically like the all Negro comics, like art imitates life. That's kind of like how they were basically portraying like different stories, like real life stories, but putting it into the artwork. And a lot like basically like the government wasn't ready for that, and so it shine a bad light on like local government stuff like that. So they didn't want that put out.
Right. And then non-people of color, white readers didn't accept them in comic books or movies on the front. So their stuff, even though it was good, it wasn't accepted by society. And I think we talk about this a whole lot. The Icon movie that you want to make, how they show Icon actually changing history, like Dr. Manhattan was doing when he did the Vietnam War. Of Icon, where they make a movie or write a comic about him changing history because of his powers. And I kept saying, well, America's not ready for that yet. Right. Even though we're in 2022, America's not. I mean, we're still not ready. We see it all over. But right. That's a deeper subject for a different time. We might feature that on In All Seriousness. We ain't gonna do it on My Comics. We gonna just talk about the different shows that also, talk about that. And I know you're gonna say Lovecraft Country. You already got that on your radar.
I would also say big kudos up to all Negro comics, because if it wasn't for them, like they wouldn't have like especially in that time period, you wouldn't have a venue for like black artists that were in the comic books to actually put stories out. And especially during that time period, so like kudos to them for doing that. And,
I mean, it gets so deep with some of this stuff. It's not just comics. It gets so deep with some of this stuff, like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. What's my man name with Brown? And a couple other guys. Oh, Malcolm X, and these other guys who were the civil rights leaders. Believe it or not, if it wasn't for this group of people and what they was doing at that time, our faces wouldn't be on YouTube right now. Like we would be banned from being on YouTube having this show because of the color of our skin. So
yeah, they blazed the trail. They were the pioneers like through a pretty dark time in our nation's history. And like we've moved past, but like that history's still there. And I mean, some people like they upset like don't talk about it and stuff. But I mean, you got to talk about some stuff to like learn from it, so you don't you're not doomed to repeat it. And so, like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of schools of thought on that, but I mean, it's the same thing. Art imitates life. You see it in the writings, you see it in the comics and stuff. Like, they're telling the stories of like what happened.
Right, and on top of that, I want to add into that something that a lot of people are not realizing. What was it? 1947. These guys was facing all odds. All right, I want y'all to understand. 1947, they didn't pass the right to stop openly discriminating against people of color, black people, until 1964. That means in 1947, they could still openly discriminate against people of color. That means YT was like, yo, I ain't publishing none of your comic books. It's good. It got a great storyline, but nah. Oh, you got a detective? That might start an uprising in the communities. We got to keep them docile. Nah, we ain't putting it out. This is why, and hold on, let me put this up here. Well said, Nick Greer. Even though you call me a swole grandpa, I'll take the swole part.
But I mean, it's right. It's why history's so important, because like, now we got, at the forefront, we got the Ukraine thing going on with Russia and Ukraine. And you learn from history, like you got people who were like Russian, like friends over here and stuff. like, you already know in the back of some people's mind, like they want to discriminate against, like, it's like you got to stop doing that. Like we got to learn from history, be smarter than that, and like no, like they're over here, like just because they're from another country, they're over here and they're American, like just like you and I, like they might might have naturalized or whatever, but they're not over there. But yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Oh, I got my hand up. Hell Hydra, America. Hell Hydra.
No, I got them Hydra socks, bro.
Right, I know. You when you shot me the text about Hydra, I had my headband.
Bro, you hooked that up. Well, look.
Right. So look. So I got the Hell Hydra shirt. And listen, I was looking online and I seen some people and they was talking about, my neighbor got on that. This comic book people. These are comic book influencers and all that. They don't know how they're influencing people, but they was saying, I seen that my neighbor had a Hell Hydra sticker on the back of his car. I got my Captain America shield if they want to fight. That's what the influencer said. Like, how deep your words are ringing. This is comic book stuff, and that's how close it is to life. And they talking about, we don't want politics in comic books. Politics been in comic books forever and ever. In movies, superhero movies, the woke movement has always been there. So that's why that's why I got my Hell Hydra shirt. Yeah. I ain't a Russian spy.
Yeah,
I ain't for that.
It's always been like hidden, like in nuance and stuff. Like we're finding out now that like Stan Lee, when he did X-Men, like it was about racism. Like he compared Professor X to Martin Luther King, and he compared Magneto to Malcolm X. And like he's like that stuff's coming out, but for the longest time, like like the dominant culture didn't understand it, but those concepts were being pushed to them through comics to kind of like get them open to like what's really going on.
Well, and then Red Skull was written in the image of Hitler, and Captain America. That was his number one enemy. America. That was his number one enemy. Yes. Hell Hydra. I mean,
Hydra was that whole like crazy party over there. Yeah.
Right. So here it is. And it is another guy I was reading about in my book called Hate Monger. Hate Monger was built behind Hitler and his people, and he did not like anything but the Aryan race. And this is a comic book character called Hate Monger. I'm gonna write this down.
Yeah,
I might just do it. Hate Monger. All right.
Like I mean, you bring that up. That reminds me of like Peacemaker. Like he has that battle, and I like that so much because he has to battle with like that that conflict between like his father, who's like the head of this like super racist like white supremacist organization, and Peacemaker wanting to be a superhero. He it's I mean we you and me talk about all the time. Like we know people who have like family members who have like believe a little radical when it comes to like supremacy and stuff. Like they kind of lean that way, or they've been in those organizations and stuff.
Right.
Yet they're conflicted. That's somebody they love, but at the same time, like they got different beliefs about like people and equality and stuff like that. So it's like it's interesting to see they got a character like Peacemaker actually like going through that. And he has like other other members from other races on his team, and he's like friends with them and stuff. Yet he comes from this background where he has his dad who's just like super evil.
Right,
super
right, exactly. And on the first, and see in the comics, right, because the comics was mostly written by non-people of color, we got stories from their point of view, which brings me to the next subject because we're in Jim Crow times and we're talking about comic books that represent that. Well, what about if there was a comic book that talked about superheroes who fought against racism? Would they be called superheroes? Would they be called supervillains? Well, guess what, guys? We found that comic book. We found that comic book, and believe it or not, we was trying to order it, but it's on back order. It's called The Antagonist. And sorry, this is such a raggedy picture, but what I will do is, right, when we get the comic books, we're gonna do a story on it. The Antagonist. And it talks about a retired supervillains, a husband and wife team, they raising their kids, and believe it or not, man, they powers is off the chain, and then they show who they're going against, and they got the the regular people, like a different Captain America, Superman with red, white, and blue. They got the G.I. Joe soldier. They got the Miss Liberty and what they stand for. These different hands of racism in the book of superheroes. So they're labeled as super villains and what they've been doing to fight.
Once again, like that whole scenario, like art imitates life. It's like, you look back at the Panthers now, like, all those stories that were just like lies, like pushed through the news and stuff. We go back years later, we find like it was like back then, everybody believed those stories. But now you look at it and like they did the studies and documentaries, it's like, a lot of stuff was lies. And like it was basically them protecting themselves from like, a lot of members who were in law enforcement who were in the KKK, or judges who were in the KKK back then, passing legislation and actually like, doing things to harm members of a community and stuff. And so like, we don't find out a lot of stuff till years down the road. And here now we have a comic actually expressing like, once again, art imitates life, expressing like what happened. Right, exactly. I was trying to download something. I wanted to get another picture of the Antagonist guys. Let's go to the let's go to the comments real fast because we're at the 20-minute mark. This is why our history is so important. MVP. Sorry guys, I had to support PBS real quick. Okay, I'm ready to give you guys my full attention. So what silly goofy thing did Midnight Assassin say? Actually, he ain't said nothing goofy tonight. He's been on the game. JB. Midnight is trying to be so serious now. I don't think he's like serious. I mean, when you spitting that knowledge, sometimes it gets serious, but he's still funny. So I can see very out of character for Midnight Assassin. Still interesting though. This type of stuff is the reason why I subscribe to this channel. That goddamn right. You know what I'm saying? America, Hell Hydra. That's why. This dude with the Hydra, man. What's up?
I'm conflicted right now. But before we go to commercial break, this is what I want to say. If you ever find yourself having, as a person of color, having to march in something that you believe in, I want you to hear me and hear me out on this. You raise that American flag on your march. This is coming from a veteran. All right. And the reason for this is right because they will use that against you. When you don't have that American flag, they will use it against you and say, yo, you're not for America. No, I'm what America stands for, player. That's why I'm trying to get to this point. This is why I got this flag. I think that's the mistake that a lot of times they make when they're doing these marches. Like, yo, you need to have that American flag right there and a preacher. Let me stop messing around. Let's go ahead and get a word from my crazy ass sponsor. Let me hook this up.
Name something you like your girlfriend to do to your face.
I want to say sit on it.
Yes!
I'm gonna play that one more time just in case y'all missed it. One more.
Name something you like your girlfriend to do to your face.
I want to say sit on it.
Yes!
Man, I didn't know you was on Family Feud, dog.
Yeah, man, bro, Steve Harvey, man. He's just like, I gave the best answer I could, and I won. Number one answer.
Oh,
yo, I heard another one, man. Dude said something else wild, man. It was recent too. I forgot what it was, man. It's just slipping my mind, but it's like I'm like this, like they be saying some wild stuff. It's a family show.
Right, a family show, and y'all sitting on people's faces.
Yeah.
What up, Ben Compton? I just want to say what up? Nick Greer. We should have a comic book of black superheroes fighting against the KKK. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, man.
There's only one that did it. That was Black Panther.
I think it's two.
You said two?
I think Superman might have addressed it long time ago. I got to pull it up. I remember seeing that, but I'm pretty sure we know the Black Panther one. I think the Superman one got pushed off. But you're right. But let me tell you the secret. You have see the screen over here. He can actually draw, and he does nothing most of the day. He can actually, I can write the story, and he can draw it up, and we can create some
Y'all can
superheroes.
recognize me because like I took my glasses off, so I'm like Superman. Like, cause that's how stupid they thought people was. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I'm not gonna even get into that. I'm not gonna even get into that. Oh, Luke Cage had a series of comics where he fought the KKK, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
I have to write that one down. Oh, that is. Thank you, MVP. Shit, locking up. So much going on here. Hold on. Superman fought the KKK, and there was one or two other ones as well. I seriously don't find it interesting, so I never look it up. Facts. JB, he's saying that's true. He has drawn a lot of comics and don't want to share them. We could be rich right now, but you around here BSing.
Yeah, that's because like when I drew my comics, there was a little girl. She saw what I was drawing one time, and she was like, "Oh, I don't like what you put in there." And she went in with some scissors and started cutting up stuff because it was like some stuff in there that probably shouldn't have been like appropriate for little kids in my comics. And yeah,
right.
So I lost all them comics, man.
Like Wolverine, Captain Marvel, and a couple other superheroes have fought against the Nazis on plenty of times. I mean, when they do a lot of Wolverine backstories, that's what they talk about, him fighting in the wars overseas and definitely political. But I want to switch the topic just a little bit and actually talk about some series. And I'll be the serious one this time, and you can go back to being funny there, guy. You guy. And we getting glasses that don't look like mine. Let me see if I got my glasses on. Somebody got me.
But take these glasses off right here. Look. Oh, I got another pair. On. Look at that. Hey, magic glasses.
Yes. So let's talk about a couple shows. One of the first we talk about that I think kind of captured how the world is was Watchmen. Not just the movie, but also the series of Watchmen. They captured the essence of it. And there was a lot of hate towards the Watchmen movie. And at first I didn't know why, but the Watchmen movie is a little bit too woke for people, especially the comedian's part. Comedian, man, he had an outlook on life like, yo, we all effed up.
Yeah.
And then the series, The Watchmen on HBO, oh my God. Nice.
Dude, that's the first time I ever seen somebody like they took Dr. Manhattan and made him like win the Vietnam War, and like they changed that part of history, and then they like conceptualized what that would look like if it were like present day. And I thought that was just so neat because I'm like, I always talk to you about this. I'm like, what if they did that like superheroes back in the day? Like, they do something so significant, it changes like a point in history. And then how do you conceptualize what that would look like present day? And like, I feel like Watchmen like really touched in on that. Like,
bro, you're a little bit too serious. I want you to talk about Hooded Justice.
What's up?
Talk about your boy Hooded Justice. You had a great.
He was the first black superhero, but they didn't know he was black because he wore the hood and stuff. He wore the uniform and stuff, and they didn't know he was black the whole time. But he was like one of the main dudes that started like the Watchmen, the original Watchmen, and so like and then yeah,
he had them BBC jeans. That mother was extra strong.
He got his uniform from when basically the police cornered him and they tried to lynch him and they let him go free and he left the rope around his neck, and that's where his uniform came from.
Right, the series was better than the movie, JB. It was definitely better. And here's another point. Here's another point that I want to throw out. Dr. Manhattan can be whatever color he want to be. You know what I'm saying? He can do whatever he want to do. So that there's a lot of people mad. Oh, they made Dr. Manhattan black. So what? You know what I'm saying? Move on. Sister Knight, the way she was portrayed in there, and her hunches, and then the way that they wrote the storyline of the KKK being rebranded into the alt-right, into the law systems of America, such as the police, the judges.
You rarely see that. You rarely see when someone writes the KKK and like how they had, they were members of law enforcement. They were judges. They were, they were all these different people like in society that held power. And they also were part of this organization. They basically pushed that in the community. And you rarely see a story that portrays that, when it comes especially in comics and stuff. But Watchmen really hit on that. And how Hooded Justice really had to figure out how to fight in between that and then hide the fact that he was black, because him being black, he and the way the country was back then, they would automatically demonize him for the color of his skin.
Right, definitely.
Look at y'all, man. Y'all steady keeping me serious, man, because y'all keep talking about all this historical stuff, man. I'm just I keep saying it. Art imitates life.
But we want to answer JB's question before we go on. What does BBC stand for?
British.
There you go, right there. Anyways, hold on. Yeah, dog. That's what it stands for right there, dog. But believe it or not, what is so great about the Watchmen series is it's a true story that's currently going on right now. They actually busted some cops in Florida when they went through their social media pages, seen the groups they was in, and then they found out that they was part of the KKK. We talking about 2022. Cops was part of the KKK.
I remember I think it was around 2012 or 2013, there was an unmasking of a police chief in Louisiana. And he was unmasking the KKK. He was police chief. Could you imagine? You think about Ahmaud Arbery and that murder, and could you imagine you're the police chief and you in the KKK, how many murders you get away with?
Yeah.
People think about that. The FBI came out with that alarming report in 2006 about how many members of the KKK were in law enforcement, and I mean you didn't hear too much about it, but you keep seeing all these murders and stuff.
Right, and the Watchmen is based on true story. I mean, that's why it got such bad reviews on HBO. Another show that got great reviews from the brothers and the sisters, but then got poor reviews was Lovecraft Country.
Oh man, that was another good one, man. It's like any of them shows that touch down on Jim Crow, that time period, the mainstream don't want to hear it. They want to. Right. I mean, we always talk about learning from history. You learn from it. You don't run from it. You learn from it. And you learn to do better.
But and then the thing about Lovecraft Country, it was still written in a format that still put people of color second, but it was told from our point of view, and so it made more sense to resonate from you. And what I don't get is we watch a lot of movies from non person of color's view. And then we start thinking that we can actually do that stuff, and then find out that we can't. I can't carry. Can't carry a gun into a store. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna happen. But we've seen in a lot of these movies where it's happened, and then you thinking I can do it because I seen it on the movies, and then you get your teeth knocked in. Anyways, I'm not gonna go too far into that subject, but Lovecraft Country. Then we have Watchmen on HBO. Another one that it's not really the Jim Crow era, but it's the Reconstruction era, was the show Them. And that was a sci-fi scary movie. Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
That was still in there.
And it's out after 1964. That's Reconstruction, or is it Jim Crow?
I mean,
We have to look that up. We're gonna look that up.
I mean, the way they
So
were acting, like all like the sundown towns and all that stuff, like that. Yeah, that was like definitely like Jim Crow era stuff.
right. So so with them, that was a sci-fi horror and race movie because it showed all this from the black person's point of view. So not only
it showed like from like you said from the black person's point of view, the ugly side of Jim Crow, the ugly side of racism. Like they had to deal not only with like the monsters and stuff like that, but they had to deal with the neighbors of a new neighborhood who like vehemently like did like mean things to them, like constantly berating them just because they were black and didn't want them in their neighborhood and stuff.
Right, and then they also had to deal with women's oppression, women's rape. You had to deal with the PTSD, which the veteran had and the woman had from being raped. Then the kids had been exposed to that. I mean, they capture a whole lot of point of views in this show. And believe it or not, I've seen mixed reviews on it. Like some people couldn't watch it because it resonated too close to what was going on with them. But then I watched it because I was like, man, they did a good what's the word I'm looking for? They did real well with putting the story together and bringing in all these different point of views. I mean, just to deal with the oppression, racism, the monsters, the PTSD that the guy had, and how they shaped it, how it was his ghost. What you gonna do? It was PTSD and the ego.
Yeah,
PTSD.
I mean, it's like, I mean, you hit it on the head. Like, I mean, when you talk about mental health, like you see what they're going through, and you're seeing how they're having to deal with that stuff. And it's like they don't have the knowledge like we have today, but they're powering through the best way they can, against all odds during that time period. Like it's like, yeah, like that is like the epitome of mental health. Like as far as like a story.
And I mean, even now with people of color in this country, we're still dealing with a lot of things that's supposed to be classified as mental health, and it's not. I mean, the whole backlash and dealing with racism, microaggressions, that cause PTSD on a level that a lot of people don't understand how we conduct ourselves. And I think that the show or series Them was really capitalizing on that fact. Moving on to one of your favorite characters, another one that was set in the slavery and Jim Crow era is Icon. Icon, and the way again, it was written this Icon's character was written from a non-person of color's point of view. And a person with superpowers was a slave, and then he was in the Jim Crow era, and only through by the sheer force of something happened.
I mean, that's what got me, man. I'm like, because when I learned about it, I'm like, oh, so like I like the origin and all that. Then when I saw what he did, I'm like, he ain't do nothing. Like it didn't make sense. Like it didn't it didn't resonate with me because like I just couldn't relate to like. You look at like John Wayne versus the Indians. John Wayne goes buck wild, like he gonna do a whole bunch of stuff to win. But this dude, he in the same kind of predicament and got power and don't do nothing.
Right. Remember the Alamo, last man standing. They went all out, and and here is a person of color with some superpowers. Oh, he was follower. He was docile.
He was docile. Like, I mean, the strongest dude out there could have ended all conflict, and he was just like, "Oh no, I don't want to." Like, I'm like, that is not believable.
let me give you another MFer that I don't like the origin story, which is probably why I don't bring him up a lot. He's one of my favorites, but I just don't like his origin story. Blue Marvel. I said it, Blue Marvel. I don't like his origin story. I just don't like it.
That's another one. Like he like stronger. It's like Superman wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And this dude's stronger than Superman, yet he do that. Like that don't make no sense.
Exactly. So anybody, if y'all don't know that origin story of Blue Marvel, man, the origin story of Blue Marvel is he had to fight with a mask on when he got to go against his enemy, Antimatter Man, and then he had to leave the country because they told him that America is not ready for a black man with superpowers.
Because his mask came off, and the people saw he was a black dude, and they was like, "Oh no!" So then they had to put him into hiding and stuff. But I do like how I forgot which, I think it was an Avengers cartoon. They kind of like, hinted back on that, or was it a cartoon? Or was it in the movie? I think I forgot which one. But they hinted back to Blue Marvel on how like the government was wrong for like hiding him and stuff. But it's like at the same time.
Oh yeah, right. Tony Stark.
Like,
Tony
Stark.
Tony Stark came up. Yeah.
Right, because I think Howard Stark was there, and he was just like, "Yo, that wasn't right." And but yeah, anyway, it's just like, but still the origin story is just like it's not believable. Like
it's not written from a person of color's view.
Right. That's why like I'm so interested in seeing how the antagonist like unfolds, because I'm like, this makes sense. Like these people standing up in their communities, and then like the local like media like basically twisting the story and like making them look like bad guys and stuff. But I mean, at the same time, they do bad stuff too. But it's like they support like their community and stuff at the same time. So it's like it's an interesting twist. And I'm like, as art imitates life, it's like, okay, let's see like how this like unfolds, how they put it together.
I think that with the antagonists, right? Soon as they get their orders back up, I'm gonna order a substantial amount of comics from them, and then I think I'm gonna do a giveaway to anybody. Like if somebody get us 5 new subscribers, I'll just send you a copy of their comic book. All right, and I think I'm gonna run that for about 4 or 5 months, so you can get a copy of this antagonist, and then we go from there. Because but I was just reading the subplot to it, and I was like, man, we definitely got to hit on this.
Yeah. It's something different. Like you don't get the same like, cookie cutter, like stuff that don't make sense.
Right. And Nick Greer, where you at, man? Where you at, man? Come on, raise your hand. You right now, you're amazing, man. You're amazing. You should be putting these stories, writing them up, and finding somebody to draw them like this guy over here. Write some stories, some short stories, and then have Muggs draw them up. And then you can have a real revelation and create you a soundtrack on it. So a podcast with your stories, you can do it on here, or you can do it on your channel, and then turn around and have real revelation, hook up a couple songs, couple rap beats on it, and have a soundtrack. Yeah, what's up, real revelation?
What up?
And we got to say happy birthday to Nick. So on the count of 3.
I think we're gonna be off, like, because like we could try.
Just follow my lead. me. 3. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, Nick. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. I'm messing the song up.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. All right, that's it. Happy birthday, Nick Grill. What that make you? 16?
I thought you turned 18. Oh wait, he turned 19.
I had to get him. And it makes you 12, 13. Anyways, but on the real. Yeah, the creator. Oh, hold on. The creator of Black Sands do promote Black creators, and I think we'll do something on Black Sands too. So Black Sands and the Antagonist. But what a lot of stuff I've seen with Black Sands is Egyptian, unless y'all tell me something different. Egyptian, African stuff, and I mean a lot of time that don't really tell the American story. And what I mean by this is like Luke Cage tells the American story. Black Panther doesn't really tell the American story. Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau tells the American Black story. Rage, the guy who gets stronger with acts of terror, tells the American story. What's the other guy? Bloodwind tells the American story. What's some other guys? I mean, I don't know about if Falcon kind of do it. I didn't really get into the whole Falcon, but I think
I feel it does. You know, for the, I mean, it's a bit nuanced, like differently, but I feel like they do touch on like a lot of things, like especially with him, like after he's done fighting, he comes back and like he runs into all these issues with loans.
What I'm talking about, right? The
what?
series did, but I was saying like the comic book. I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, in the series, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, hell to the yes.
Yeah. And then with Isaiah Bradley, like that, whew, man.
Right, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna dig into that a little bit later. So we're at the 45-minute mark. So let's go ahead and go to another commercial, but not from our sponsor, from cosplay. Let's do it. Hold on, let me get Nick Greer off the screen because he's trying to take over. Taking over everything. Trying to just take over the whole entire world, Nick Greer.
Cosplay of the week. This week's winner is and here are this week's picks.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Hey, I seen your face when Sabra came up on the screen. Like, what the last guy, the Sabra, the last person.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh man, it kind of remind me of like CeeLo a little bit.
Well, so Sabra is actually an African god.
No, I thought you were talking about
No, just letting you know. I didn't go far into it. I just read the little bio that he had down there because I had never heard of it, and I was like, interesting.
But nah, that Robin, bro.
We knew you was gonna say Robin. So before we read these comments, right? This video will come out right after the show. It will be. It's already premiered and previewed. So go and vote at the bottom on the comments and let us know. And that's right. This week is hard because I like Soul Snatcher. Just the angle, the way the picture was taken, and then it was like, man. And then it's another one, Hypnota. She's not on the she's not in the cosplay. I posted her stuff in the community on the post, right? And some of y'all, I know y'all are afraid to say anything on it because you're like, man, that's a little bit too provocative, Pete. You need to take that down. But one person, they say Hypnota's not black. Well, she gonna be black today. She gonna be black today, man. And I see that on a Facebook cosplay group.
She go, yeah, that's like back in the day, Mariah.
Right. She gonna be black today.
She'll be black today.
That's right, real revelation. Gonna be hard to pick this week. That's right. I feel you, JB. There was some good ones this week. MDP, man, this mug here, man. You gotta read some of the comments he be writing, man. He be like,
he bring up Mexican. Yo, I'm still on that Hulk and Wolverine mix. Like that's a Mexican dude. Like remember the dude you told me about?
Weapon H.
Yeah, that dude Hispanic right there. Like, man, I didn't do a video on that.
Well, LDP, I didn't know you was a little bit Mexican. Mexican. I'm gonna start throwing some of that Hispanic flavor in there, some of that Mexican flavor in there, some of that Latino flavor in there. Yeah, Puerto Rican and all that. Puerto Rico. That's good to good. Honestly, I can't even tell you who Soul Snatcher is, Nick Greer. I just seen it. I seen it in the cosplayers. I was scrolling through, and I was like, I need to put in there. Actually, I have put about 15 of them. It was hard. I was like, I'll put them on next week. And I know what you're gonna ask, Nick Greer. You're gonna say, hey, what's the ones I sent you? I'm gonna get it in there. I'm serious. I'm gonna get it in there. I'm serious. I'm gonna get it in there, man. My bad, dog. Forgive me. But while we get ready to wrap up the show, I wanted to throw out some shows to y'all just in case you did not watch them to actually catch them. That talks about Jim Crow era, that type of stuff. It's one when it's called Mudbound. I thought that was a good one. Of course, the Django was the Django.
You mean Django? Because the D silent.
How am I supposed to know the D silent? You ain't got it written under there to say the D silent. How am I supposed to know that? Anyway, it's just trash language. 42 by Jackie Robinson. One of his favorites, but I could only watch it a couple times. And it's the 13th, where they talk about
oh damn, yeah. Ooh, that was hard. Like,
give him a quick rundown on that. Give him a quick rundown on 13.
It basically go over basically in the 90s when Clinton was in office, and basically the laws were basically made to put a lot of people in the Black community in jail, and you see how that stuff was formulated and kind of put into action. And I've got family members who were affected by that, those I forgot what you call them, you do something and it's just no leeway or whatever. It's boom, what hey, I'm forgetting the name.
No trial, straight to jail. No trial, straight to prison. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
I forget the name, but it's it's no chance. You get no chances, and it's just straight to prison. Yeah. And you see in that documentary how that took effect, and you see how they put it into play, and then what happened in those communities and today. So yeah. Right.
So check out D Django. And I did watch the movie, and I still don't understand why the D is silent. That's why mothers was getting lynched back in the day. They confusing you on their names, talking trash. Anyway,
that ain't why nobody got lynched.
My name is Frankie J, but the F, the K, and the J is silent. So it just ran.
What about the PH and phonics?
Oh, who is this? Thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, that's the greatest person on earth right there.
Well, next to me.
No, she great in there. She great in there.
Oh God. Let me see. And always Malcolm X. Any movie? Oh, what's that? One Night in Miami. And One Night in Miami? Where they show Malcolm X, Ali, Joe Brown, and
Sam
Cook. Sam Cook.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do to move the race forward. And with those guys, they did it all in their own way. But they showed Malcolm X kind of had a problem with it. And I understood where he's coming from. But then at the same time, you got to let people do things the way they do it. So with that being said, it was something else I want to bring up. Batman. Anybody going to watch it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Shoot, I know y'all over here hating. I'm gonna watch that, man. Shoot, I'm finna check that out.
I'm gonna wait till it come out on cable.
Well, actually, I got a date planned the week after next, so I'm just a little behind. But yeah, I've been waiting on that. I'm trying to see how this new Catwoman play. I'm trying to see if they gonna keep this Batman gritty. I mean, it better not be wonky or whatever. They better not nerf anything. Cause I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them nerfing Batman. And they better carry it on. They better not like try to revamp it or whatever. Like, like a one hitter quitter. Like this thing better like carry on some story time.
Well, see, that's the killer, but we'll discuss that for a time later. And when you go see it, I'm take me and little man gonna go see it also. I'm gonna go check it out so we can at least do a spoiler for all y'all, and then be like, yo, you need to go see it. If not, we're gonna spoil it because I'm gonna talk about every little nuance in the movie that I can. But oh well, don't tune into this channel if you don't want to get it spoiled. I don't care about no ratings.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Exactly. But before we go, what we're gonna do is let's take a word from our sponsor real fast. We're gonna read the comments, and then Midnight Assassin gonna go ahead and close this thing out. So we'll be right.
Say, bro, I really appreciate you hooking me up with this haircut last minute. Oh.
Oh God, good one, dog. Good one, good one. I like that one. I actually like that one. Was funny, but I like the one on the Family Feud. I want to go on Family Feud too. So let's go to the comments real quick. JB, yes, I will watch Batman. Nick Greer, I will watch Batman. From what I heard, it was 91% on Tomatoes. Okay. And then Real Revelation, he just laughed at you. And did he cut his off? I know you thought I thought that's what he was gonna do because they got a lot of the TikTokers where they shaving down there in their private parts and they sneeze or they miss a cut and then they cut their thing off.
Oh dang.
Right. So I'm pretty sure he'll have one by next week. Right. But anyways, hey, I'm glad y'all came in. I want to tell y'all a quick secret. The show wasn't gonna happen tonight because I had an extreme case of the diarrheas, but the spouse hooked me up. I mean, that's why I called you. I was like, man, I'm on the toilet. I'm not on the toilet.
Thank you, Natty Smalls.
Listen, I'm laying on the floor in the bathroom, and I grabbed the phone. That's when I called you. You didn't answer, so I came out and laid on the bed. She went and got me some stuff, and then now I'm back. Anyway, so diarrhea. This show is dedicated to Natty Smalls, living other. She took care of me. Anyways, go ahead and close out this show, bruh.
Hey, appreciate everybody's input and stuff. And like I said, art imitates life. The history lesson. We don't run from history. We need to learn from it and do better. All that being said, Charles Hazleton III, bringing that up.
I'm listening to Frankie J, watching my comics. L to the P, breaking down my comics. With Midnight Assassin and David Wesley, my comics gets down. If you won't come test me.